So on this channel, I really want to inspire people to read, but if you're not somebody that already reads a lot, it's going to be hard to get into that habit, and it's going to be hard, especially nowadays, because we're so overstimulated by social media, we're so overstimulated by video games or sports or whatever it is in your life. Like, the least of your worries is reading a book, and I want to change this habit. So I want you to stick to the end of this video if you really want to become an avid reader, because I used to be somebody that couldn't read an entire page of a book without getting bored, and now I read 2-3 books at least in a week. And I mean, obviously some of it was from me just being in law school, like me being used to reading that much. Like, it's just, if I can choose the subject, yeah, it's going to be more interesting. Yeah, it's like something I'm just used to, but at the same time, there were a few tactics, a few habits that I started that really went about transforming me. And the reason why I'm so avid about reading is because somebody richer than you, somebody more successful than you, somebody more smart than you wrote down on a piece of paper how they solved that current issue you're going through, and they put it in a digestible way, and they did it just for the recognition, just for the ability for people to say, like, hey, this person really figured it out. Like, nowadays, a lot of people use books as like sales funnels or sales leads, or, you know, they're trying to sell you something. But back in the day, I think I heard Alex Hormozy say this, like, people are more motivated by their process, by people respecting them, by the social credit and the social just whatever popularity they would get. They wanted to be known, they wanted to be remembered. So that's more of a focus. So the first thing I want to say is, like, to get into the habit of reading, just start off small. If you have to start off with reading 1 page a day, 5 pages a day, 10 pages a day, start with that. Like, that's going to go a long way, because once you establish that habit, once you start to get better at reading, once it becomes more and more interesting, it's really going to set in, and you're going to be able to start reading 50 pages a day, 100 pages a day, entire books in a day. And it really just starts with that little step. But it's like any habit. When you first start a habit, you're going to be bad at it. When you first start riding a bike, you suck, you're going to fall and fall and fall and fall. And now when you start to ride a bike, you never really forget. And that's how it is with reading. But think, when was the last time you read? In high school? In 5th grade, in 6th grade? Like, that's when you were reading the most, and we need to get you back to that skill level. We need to get you back to that imagination where you can paint the picture of the story in your mind. And it all starts with just establishing that tiny habit. The next thing I would really suggest is, there's a million book summary services. I'll see if I can get an affiliate link for the one I use, but literally for the longest time, like, my attention span was so destroyed that I had to ease my way into reading. I had to ease my way into a lot of books. So what I did was I bought this book summary service, and basically what it does is all the most popular books, whether it's self-improvement, fiction, biographies, there's literally like a lot of these services, but they just give you like the most popular books, and they give you a summary, and then they give you all the key points and this and this. So at least you're getting some knowledge, at least you're getting some of the information. It's obviously not going to be as good as the author's words, but you're going to get the Spark Notes version, and you're going to get a professional version that's not like, you don't have the Harry Potter quizzes on the side. It's just like, you're paying for the service, and these people, like, they put their time into it and they put their effort into it, and you could tell a lot of them have a love for literature. So that's a really good option, and that's something I did for a while, because, like, let's face it, like, you pick up a book, half the time they suck, half the time they're boring. So another thing I would use that for is, if I wanted to read a book, I would read the summary, I'd read all the points, and I'd be like, okay, is this information I really need? Is this information I really want to have in my life? And if the answer is yes, then I would go buy the book. Then I would go, you know, look into it more. And the last thing I want to say is, like, if you don't know where to start with reading, if you don't know where to start with, you know, getting yourself out of that overstimulation, like, instead of when you're in the gym, when you're in the car, instead of listening to music, start listening to audiobooks, because this was really the first step for me going to reading, because I had gotten so much value from all the audiobooks I had listened to that I was like, I know I can read faster than I can listen. So why don't I start reading? Why don't I start spending time reading and really digesting it and really getting the whole thing of it? Because you can gain a lot from an audiobook, but you can't really get all of the contents. But at the same time, like, if you're replacing that degenerate rapper with a genius that's just putting his thoughts into your brain, like, that's going to have such a positive impact on your life. And it's such a simple change. And I'll see if I can get an affiliate link, so, like, maybe you get a free trial, maybe I get a free book or $10 or whatever. So I'll put that in there if I can find it. But with that said, I really want you to fall in love like I have with reading, and I really want you to start spending more of your time reading, because reading is the solution to life. If you can have it written down step by step how to solve your problem by someone smarter and more successful than you, like, that is a blueprint to life. And I read this somewhere. I wish I could remember where, but it basically said that smart people learn from their failures. Smarter people learn from other people's failures. And that's what reading is. Reading is learning how somebody applied whatever they were trying to do, learning how they failed, and then learning from that failure and you not having to make that same mistake yourself. That said, if you want to stick around on the channel, I make a video every single day right now, but I'm going to run out of books at a certain point, so I'm going to have to start changing around the content style. But yeah, if you want to hear more from me, subscribe to the channel. I have another channel that's strictly self-improvement, so you can check that out as well. There'll be a card at the end, and thank you for making it this far.